friends. How are you today? Oh, Lordy, this one's going to be a good one. I'm here with my friend, Shalini Codispoti, and she's an estate planning attorney. And let me tell you, before we even start, she made a huge difference in my life, my husband's life, my mother's life, my mother-in-law's life. She got their crap together, and it really, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, and it brings tears to my eyes because you really made a difference in our family. I'm getting way ahead, but I just want to get that out there. So, Shalini, please tell us what you do.
Thank you, Jennifer, so much. I am an estate planning attorney. So what that means is that I do wills, trusts, powers of attorneys, all of the legal documents that you would need if you were to ever become incapacitated or you were to ever pass, right? I tell people all the time, it's kind of one thing we're guaranteed in this life is that we have to pay taxes and we will die. So that's kind of what I do.
So tell us, because I know how important it is. Tell us how important it is to have your stuff in order. And as a parent of young children, or older with older parents.
So I have young children myself. My kids are 11 and 4. So first of all, with respect to young families, a lot of young families think that, hey, I am not wealthy enough. I don't have enough assets, so I don't need an estate plan. And that's actually a myth. Okay. Everyone needs an estate plan. And with an estate plan for young families, especially, you need to be thinking about if something were to happen to you and you become incapacitated or pass, who would care for your children? Right? And what would you want to happen to them? Okay. So it is important that you appoint guardians for your children, people who you know, love, and trust, right? People that you would want to raise your children, and not leave it up to a stranger, a judge, to make that decision for you. So that's with respect to young families. With respect to older people, obviously they see more of the need for it. My dad calls it waiting in the departure lounge. It's just funny, and I'm like, why are you saying that? But it's really important for them, yes. But let's take something like Medicare or Medicaid, right? You're not actually eligible just the minute that you need it, right? If you want to be eligible, you have to do planning beforehand, right? And so you have assets, you have money, you may own a home, but you may not have that much assets to really take care of your long-term care, right? So you may think, well, I can't afford it. So, Medicaid will step in. No, they will actually spend down what you have so that when you pass, you actually leave nothing as a legacy. So if you're thinking about that kind of planning, it is important that you think about that ahead of time. There's a 5-year look back period that Medicaid can say, hey, we need to look at what your assets are for the last 5 years. Okay. So that is super important. And obviously for every human over the age of 18, having things like medical powers of attorneys, healthcare directives, financial powers of attorneys, right? We just never know when we may need those documents and someone may have to do something on our behalf. So you really should be having those documents in place.
I'm telling you, it was like pulling teeth to get mother to sign the medical power of attorney. But let me tell you, she got really sick, and I, without it, couldn't make a decision for her. They wouldn't even talk to me about anything. So we got it signed, and now I'm her advocate. And people need that because she wasn't able at that time to make those decisions. So Correct. Get your stuff in order. You never know when it's going to happen. Shalini will help you every step of the way. She will make it not complicated. She will make it easy. She holds your hand. It's just, please, you need to take care of this. Even if you're young, take care of it. So, all right. Enough about me and my favorite so many stories. What is your favorite customer story or your client story? What's made the biggest difference? What's one of the ones that sticks out?
So, well, let me first start by talking about what got me into estate planning in the first place, right? And I like to share this story because it's one that really people can relate to, anyone with minor children, right? I got into estate planning when my firm actually got involved in a matter where there were 2 parents, mom and dad, and they had a young 2-year-old, right? A lot of families with young children that age think, oh, I don't need estate planning. Unlike them, they didn't have one. And unfortunately, their car was hit by an 18-wheeler. Mom and dad were in the front seat and they passed, and 2-year-old survived, right? And my firm got involved because both sides of the family were arguing over who should have guardianship of this 2-year-old. And that conflict didn't arise because of malice or anything like that. The both sides of the family genuinely thought that they would be the ones who would do the better job, right? And out of love for their deceased child, they were fighting for guardianship. And I realized then that that could have all been avoided had mom and dad sat down with an attorney and got the proper documents in place, right? So that's really what got me started into estate planning. And then obviously I became a mom myself. So that kind of brought everything home. But really, what is a good story for me to share with you about the success of a plan is this. I had someone reach out to me, and not very long ago, saying, hey, their mom died. Would I be able to assist their family with, probate process and things like that? So I said, sure. So I asked them, well, I need to see a copy of the will. I asked them to prepare an inventory and things like that. And this client, her mom did do a will, right? She did do some estate planning, but then they couldn't find the will.
Oh,
Right.
Lord.
So
Oh,
then I instructed them, I said, go try to look for the, see if you knew the attorney, call the attorney up and let's see if we can get some assistance from him. And they did. Obviously, the attorney, that was years ago, the attorney did not have any documents, did not have a system in place
no.
for retaining even copies of those documents. And what ended up happening is that we had to go through with that estate as if she had done no estate planning at all. Right.
Oh,
Which
no.
is, in my view, a failure, right? Why spend money on estate planning if it's actually not going to work for your family? All right. So, and that's very different from how I do things. So I actually retain copies of my clients' documents, right? If something happens, the family members already know who I am because I've been introduced to them. They have received correspondence from me saying, so-and-so put a plan in place, right? And you're named as this person in that plan. And so that they're able to pick up the phone, give me a call, and I can direct them. So I'll compare that to I lost one of my own clients here recently. And their son called me and said, hey, Shalini, dad passed. And obviously I was I was very close to him. So I was very sad to hear that.
Sorry.
But I was able to give over the phone, just give them step-by-step guidance as to exactly what's needed to be done. He didn't need to bring any documents for me because I had all of the documents in my files. So everything was done over the phone. I allowed the family to grieve for some time. And then after some weeks, and they were ready to now, okay, let's deal with the estate portion of it. And it was so simple. We avoided court entirely. Everything was laid out. The roadmap was there. It was just for us to follow.
Because you're going through so much already. The last thing you need to figure out is, oh my God, what would they have wanted? What were their wishes? And this just takes care of that. It puts their wishes, puts their legacy on paper for them to follow. It makes it much easier. So,
Correct.
and I really get goosebumps thinking about it because it's just so important. So, call Shalini. Speaking of which, what's the best way to reach you?
So you can reach out to me at this email, clientservices@codispoti-law.com. I love emails, right? I have a 24-hour turnaround if you send us an email or phone us at the office at 832-861-7007. We will return your call and get back to you and get you scheduled for a meeting with me. Or you can go onto my website. There's lots of resources on there, www.codispoti-law.com. There's lots of resources there, articles that you can read. You can get onto my newsletter. You can schedule a 15-minute call with me. You can schedule your legacy planning session with me if you're ready to do your estate planning. So that's also a great way to reach out.
And you do a lot of events. So there's your calendar of events too, right?
Yes, correct. So I do wine and wills at least once a month, where I, talk about what wills are, what trusts are, what are the important documents you need to have in your estate plan.
Yeah, they're wonderful. I've been there too. So, and she did not pay me to say one word in this.
Maybe I should have.
Right? Okay. Bad on me.
Job, so.
All right, my sweet friends, thank you so much for joining us today. I really cannot speak more highly of Shalini and her group and her job and her care and her commitment and compassion. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, see you later, friends. Be safe, be good.